What's really going on with the Reno-Sparks real estate market? In this video, we cut through all the noise and give you exactly what you need. Just the facts, the data, the charts, and the info to help you make the most confident decision possible. So if you're buying, selling, or just keeping an eye on the market, stay tuned. Let's go.
Assist you sell way smarter.
Now, before we dive into all this great data, I want to clarify a few things. First of all, this is for the Reno-Sparks metro area only and includes single family properties, basically homes and condos. Does not include commercial or land or lots or anything like that, apartment buildings. This is the report for April 2025. Now, you'll notice on some of these charts, most of these charts, you'll see March 2024. That's because as I film this video, it's early April. Therefore, we only have numbers through the end of March. Now, if you look at these charts, as you can see, this big yellow box is the primary data point we're going to be talking about. We compare those year over year in most cases. In this case, it'd be March of 2024, and you'll see the difference usually right up here with an up arrow or a down arrow. So the first chart we always dive into is mortgage rates. Why? That has the biggest impact on the real estate market in general. Why? Because roughly 80% of people get a mortgage to purchase a home. And as you can see, interest rates have been fluctuating and bouncing around. We're sitting at 6.7%, which is down slightly, 2.5% down from this time last year where we were at 6.8%. The one thing I want you to notice here though is this sort of channel forming right here, where we're starting to see interest rates. They hit a kind of a ceiling at a little over 7. They kind of hit a floor at around 6, low 6s, and they seem to be in that sort of channel. And I expect that to continue for the foreseeable future. Now, why interest rates matter? Well, they directly affect mortgage payments. And as we're seeing, not a whole lot of relief in mortgage payments as we sit here today. The average payment right now sits at $4,060, which is up just slightly over 0.5%, where we were at $4,037 last year. Now, median price, this tends to get the most headlines. Now, again, this is houses and condos mixed. Median sales price, $550,000, which is up slightly from this time last year, 2.1%, where we're sitting at $538,500. Once again, you can see that channel forming here. We seem to kind of hit the cap at around 550, 560 overall. We saw it fall a bit down under 500 before rebounding back up. So I expect this to continue as well. I don't see any major movement, and I'll explain why here in just a moment. The next chart we always look at is new listings. Now, these are listings that just came on the market in the month of March. So this kind of gives you the flow of people month by month that are putting their house on the market. And one thing I want you to notice is sort of the rhythm of the market. It doesn't matter how far I took this chart back. This is January of 2015, 10 years ago. I could take it back to 05 to 95, 85, and you'd see the same sort of rhythm. But as you can see, the numbers have been significantly lower, but we're starting to see that change. New listings, 576, up a little over 12% from this time last year where we had 513. It starts to get interesting when we look at listings by price. So we are seeing, though, is a good number of homes from 4 to 5, 5 to 6. Now, just on this chart to explain, over on the left side, we see the actual number of new listings. On the bottom, it's broken down by price range here. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 400, 4 to 500, and so on, all the way up to $1.5 million plus. Now let's look at active listings. Now the difference between new and active means these homes could have come on the market in March, or they could have come on the market in February, January, whenever. These are just standing inventory. These are people whose homes are on the market. These are homes that are going to be your direct competition if you're selling. These are going to be homes that you can go out and look at if you're looking at buying a home. This is where things get interesting, significantly higher than last year, 900 homes on the market. That's up over 33% from last year, where we only had 674. And what I want you to notice on this chart is we're starting to get a little more normalized. This would be considered, I guess, more of a stable / normal market, where at this time of year, we'd expect to see 1,000 to 1,200, and then we see that peaking out normally around the summertime. Now, where this gets interesting is with active inventory by price range. Once again, on the previous chart, we had number of sales, price ranges down here. Look at the number of active homes from the 6 to 750, 750 to $1 million, $1 million to $1.5 million, and $1.5 million plus. A ton of homes on the market in those price ranges. Now, why does that matter? We'll get to that here in just a second. Let's look at closed sales. Closed means sold. These are homes that sold, closed escrow, people moved out, buyers moved in the month of March. 380, which is slightly higher, 7.3% higher than we saw it in March of 2024. We were at 354. So we're starting to see sales pop up a little bit, but not nearly as much as active listing inventory. So sales are only up slightly, active inventory is up significantly. Now, if it gets really interesting when you look at closed sales by price, notice the number of sales down here in the $1.5 million, million to $1.5 million, and then 750 to $1 million. The sales really fall off. If you go back to active by price, significant numbers of inventory with a slowdown in the number of sales. So as this gap widens between active inventory and closed sales, that generally speaking puts some more pressure on home prices. Unsold, not a lot of unsold homes, but I think this is interesting to keep an eye on. 77 homes, but it's up over 67% from last year. We only had 46. We're not talking about large numbers here, so this isn't some big revelation in the market, but it is good to keep an eye on how many homes aren't selling in the market, because if this starts to go up significantly, once again, that can be an indicator of price reductions ahead. Let's look at market, the supply of inventory on the market. Now, all this is the number of homes on the market in terms of months. So let's say you sell 500 homes a month, you have 1,500 homes on the market, you would have 3 months of inventory. In this case, we currently have 2.4 months of inventory, which is up nearly 25%, 24.4% from this time last year, where we only had 1.9. We are still constrained in terms of inventory. What does all this mean? Well, my best advice to you is if you're thinking of selling a home, understand the difference in price ranges. If you're in those upper end price ranges, you need to get aggressive in pricing. Even the lower end prices where things are still moving, in this market with the uncertainty and things that are going on, get aggressive early. You know, the days of multiple offers and, bidding over asking price are pretty much over in all price ranges. Get aggressive, work with your agent, do your research and understand where the market is, go at or slightly below the market to generate that activity. So when those buyers come out, you're one of the first homes they take a look at and potentially want to purchase. Now, on the other side of the equation, if you're thinking of buying a home, now is the time to keep your eyes peeled. You're going to start seeing potentially more opportunities arise. You see more inventory, more competition. You're starting to see new home construction offer more and more incentives to get you in homes. So it could be a very good time. If you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting, wondering when the best time, start getting ready. We have the spring season upon us. And as always, if you need help with any of this stuff, call your experts over at Assist to Sell. That's what we're here for. Been around this area since 1987, right here in the Reno-Sparks area. Most people don't know we are founded here. We have offices across the U.S. and Canada, but our goal is to serve you, our local community, our neighbor. Sell your home for only $49.95. That's $4,995. Or if your home is over $500,000, it's only 1%. We're expert realtors, licensed, been here forever. Would love the opportunity to work with you, both selling your home, but also potentially buying a home. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. And as I mentioned before, if you do need a quick valuation on a piece of property, hit that Find Out Now button. We'll see you next time right here on the Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update Show. Bye-bye.
Assist to sell way smarter.